Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is where you are. Welcome back to FRS Community and getting ready to wrap up the running of the Saturday for round 4 of this 10-round championship of FRS Season 6. We are here in the Styrian Hills of Austria this time around, so thank you all for joining us in the PC Division 4 that we are going to be catching the action of. Now, it does look like we may be just a little bit on the thin side with the promotions we've had from several drivers in the PC 4 division being moved up into PC's Division 3 and 2, so there's been a lot of upfilling. On the good news, there's drivers getting promotions and moving up to higher divisions and competing with quicker and quicker guys. On the downside, it does leave the lowest division a little bit empty because there's nowhere for them to backfill from. Here's the championship on the screen as it is. Stolen Valor in the lead of it. Only 1 point in it, though, with Space Ghost right on their tail. Squids is in third, making it a McLaren 2-3. Stashes in the Alfa Romeo, who looks to be absent today, is in fourth and is going to likely drop down the field. And then Zhao rounds out the top 5. Renovatio took the race win last time out. Finally getting the monkey off their back after a couple of DSQs and retirements from the first 2 races. So they will be looking to get back onto the top step of the podium. Another win right there would put them right in the championship fight. Schedule is just up on the screen. It'll cycle back around eventually, so as the time ticks. Should be just about time for us to get going. I'm keeping an eye on the lobby. I think we've got just about everybody in. And so we should be rocking and rolling rather soon. Why is it telling me that my game is disconnected? SimHub's being a little bit of a pain at the moment. So we will just have to wait and see if that is going to be working for us today. But it looks like we are just about to get underway, getting some pings from the PC Division 4 Discord chat. And I think we're about to hit the gas pedal and get underway here. So it'll be one of those situations on the look of it where just about finishing will get you points. So see if drivers can find their way around. Turn 1 is usually fairly shambolic. The Xbox race had a bit of an incident into turn 1 this week, so hopefully we don't see anything too bad. As far as the drivers that are in the lobby, though, a lot of them have had similar pace, barring the mistakes, so we may have an opportunity still, even with the lighter numbers, to see some fairly close racing up and down the pack, and we'll see if we pick up anybody over the course of qualifying. This time, there is no practice session set, so I will be sending us to the intro rather shortly, and it won't be taking me out of the intro directly into practice where I have to waffle on for a little bit longer. But it is just about go time. I'll see you on the other side. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to FRS Season 6. We are here for round 4 of 10 of the championship in Spielberg, Austria, making a visit to the Red Bull Ring. It's been featured in all 6 of the FRS seasons so far, so it is very much a track drivers are familiar with. Speaking of, here is the track. 4.3 kilometers, just 2.6 miles, only 10 corners, but each of them a unique challenge. 3 DRS zones promotes a lot of overtaking opportunity, and with the way they're spaced out, it's very hard to break the toe around this very short lap. Speaking of short laps, the quickest on the calendar, lap times could dip under 65 seconds here in PC Division 4. We saw it get down to the 103s in some of the top divisions. Turn 3, the first of your best overtaking opportunities down the long straight and into an uphill hairpin, so look for drivers to attack. However, it leads straight onto another DRS zone and then the downhill braking of another sharp corner, turn 4. So if you aren't able to get the job done in turn 3, you maybe get another chance in turn 4. Tire-wise, low deg circuit and not a big gap. 0.5 of a lap slower on the mediums, just 1 second slower on the hard compound tires. And in this 36 lap race, the hard can do 34. So in early safety car, look for drivers to go to the end. Mediums give you a lot of flexibility with 23 laps. Softs, likely not going to be a great race tire except for in late safety car conditions. Here is the Drivers' Championship once again, just 1 point in it at the top between Stolen Valor and Space Ghost, with Squids, the other McLaren, in P3. Stashes is 4th with Zhao in 5th. And then Reno picking up their win last week, jumped 9 places and is inside the top 10. But drivers are just now getting on their outlap, and we will find our way to see how we are doing. Is anybody on the road just yet in this one? We will wait and see until, oh, sorry, forgot to bring up this bad boy, track map, so we know who to try and find. Space Ghost looks to be the first one to go for a flying lap here. Is going to be, and sorry, it's going to tell you that something is disconnecting because I have to unplug my controller, which is rumbling because the game, if you have a controller plugged in, will make it rumble. Fun fact. The Space Ghost is going to be the first to start the flying lap this time around. And we will see how they can maneuver their way up the hill, breaking into turn 3. Open Mendez is the next on a flyer. Just a little further down the track, we'll see if they're going to be able to improve through that first sector. Really just the one corner in Sector 1. Technically, you drive through turn 2, but turn 2 is just a little kink up the hill that leads on to turn 3. So not a big difference there. Turns in Space goes 2 purple sectors and is going to lead the way on this first flying lap of the session. Just 10. We just saw a 11th. Seratin connects. He's going to be in a reserve role, so he's just got to grab an empty chair. We should have just about 11 on the grid. We're getting reports that there is weather inbound. So 105.8. So Space Ghost already just about going to that 1 minute and 5 second mark, just a little bit above it. Should have plenty of time to drop. We'll see if my weather decal is working. It is indeed. However, I put them in both in the same spot. No rain expected in the qualifying session, but we are getting reports from Nordy that there could be some rain in the race. So Austria, in that microclimate, is able to generate some really interesting weather. Let's actually find somebody on a flying lap while I'm being distracted here. We'll get that quality banner right back up. Wilco goes up. Project Stealth improves into P3. Looks like we've got Red Bull just coming through. That's a great view of them. There's the Red Bull of Delta, whose name is Player. Business Monkey also is going to show up as Player because people don't check the show player names option. But we'll work our way on. We'll cross-reference with it. As across the line goes Delta up into P3, and then next across the line was Arena Vatio 109, so not a particularly representative lap from them. Around the final 2 corners comes Business Monkey, a slow lap there, so it looks like they are not going to improve too much. They'll be a pretty unrepresentative lap time. So they finally cross the line, 111. Next up is Zhao, who has challenged for race wins a couple of times here, has shown pretty good pace coming out of the final corner on their first flying lap, and is going to set a 107.0, so not quite the improvements that they need. Ivory Lightning next up across the line in the Mercedes has made a switch with Peter Ward, so a Mercedes for Mercedes trade between Division 3 and 4, and Ivory Lightning goes 5th. Stolen Valor Championship leader should be the next across the line here, as Sariton has now connected, and you can see they are now showing up. It appears they're going to be taking a Red Bull. Renovatio, of course, doing the extra outlaps as they have been so many times already this season. We'll grab them as they're about to finish their first genuine flying lap, and there it is, that double warm-up lap, really proving to be an advantage there. Goes 105.8, just nips the pole position right off of Space Ghost. And we'll check up on Stolen Valor. Nope, they've all backed out, and I think that is going to be everybody on their way back into the pit lanes after the first round of qualifying laps. So we get to relax for just a moment and get ready to see what drivers can do. We should be able to find roughly 7-8 tenths of improvement on track evolution. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see somebody dip down into the sub 105 range. Definitely possible for somebody to get it right all the way down there. And then we'll just have to wait. It looks like Space Ghost and Oba Mendez are both on their out lap, so we'll get ready for them to go for their first flyers. They get the tires warmed up. We'll check and see, is my speedometer functioning? It doesn't appear to be because SimHub refuses to be a friend to me. Unfortunately, not a lot of time in between, as there's a Red Bull going the wrong way, backing their way around as they were pushing, but not a lot of downtime in between the Xbox race and this one, as Space Ghost is about to start the flying lap in his bid to take over the championship lead. So DRS open, across the line they go, and now going to come down into turn. We'll see how much curb they dare to take. If you can kind of straddle the curb in turn 1 if you're daring, but it looks like they've managed to just kind of go with the safer route. It is a little less consistent. But next we will see as they come up the hill how they are. They've improved by about a tenth, a little less than that. A little early on the turn-in, have to make an adjustment, and that's going to put them on the sausage curb. That is not an ideal line to take out of that corner. It's going to cost them a little bit of time. So we will see how they do. There's still a decently long middle sector in this one as they pitch it through. Their improvement does put them purple in the first sector. And now next up through into turn 6. Crossing the second sector split. No, they backed out of it. So that lap is done and dusted. We will find who is next on a quick lap. Looks like it is going to be Project Stealth. They have not improved in the first sector. Wilco does improve in the first sector. Seriton is out. Seriton, who has joined the session a little later, looks to have disconnected. The car seems to still be trundling. Interesting. Well, typically not supposed to retire it on track, but qualifying is less important for that. But Project Stealth has gone personal best in the second sector, so looking to improve. They need to find about 0.6 of a second in order to get themselves up towards pole position. Wilco in the background. No, he's invalidated. So Wilco is going to be the next driver across the line. He's 2 personal bests in the first and second sector. How are they going to do in the final one? And, you know, that's one of the first times we've seen an invalidation around the track here. Seriton's reporting that there's an issue with their wheel. So they're going to retire from the session, try and get it repaired real quick before the start of the race. Still a little bit of time left to go in this one, as actually we will take a look here at Zhao, who is coming up. Has a purple first sector, so showing very good pace. There's still 9 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. And that is just about the halfway point of this 18-minute qualifying session. So purple through the first sector, second sector split, personal best. So there is an improvement there. We'll see how they are working across the line. Apologies, let me bring that. Oh, never mind, I was looking at the wrong screen. The graphic was already there, and I just wasn't looking in the right place. Got 2 screens to look at, and sometimes my brain just doesn't operate. But here comes Player, aka Zhao, across the line. They do improve, but they only go up to 4th. And now Renovation on the top of the timing tower. The next driver with 2 green sectors. Stolen Valor looking to improve up the timing sheets. And it looks like the Alpine of Project Stealth has 2 personal best sectors as well. We haven't seen too much teamwork. Obviously, it's pretty low attendance here. Not a lot of opportunity for teamwork in this one. Stolen Valor does jump up to P5. And I think we are once again just kind of easing in. We'll see Ivory Lightning is on a charge and an in-lap. Delta the Hunter has not improved through the first sector. We'll see how they do at the second sector split. They are on a push lap, though. Personal best in the second sector. So now we will see if they are going to be able to put in a blazing lap time in the final sector and improve. They need to find almost 0.6 of a second or 0.8 of a second to get towards pole position. They cross the line, they go up a 106 flat, so they do find about 0.6 and go up into P5. Renovatio usually doing the double warm-up laps, so we will jump on board with them, as I believe they will be the next on an actual flying lap for this one. So this should be their warm-up lap. They are actually rather low. No, it's an in lap. They are low on battery, and they are winding it up, and it's not a lot of battery on board, you can see from the steering wheel. So I don't know if there's going to be a good opportunity to improve on this lap with that low charge. We'll have to see how much they are able to regen in the heavy braking zones, opening up the DRS, now headed in towards turn 3. Of course, you go from turn 1 to turn 3 and go, wait, what? Right here as we cross it, that's turn 2. Not much of a turn in a Formula 1 car, and Renovatio does not improve in the first sector. So they're yellow in the first sector, not a chance for an improvement there. We'll see, though, if they've got time to find in the middle sector. They don't appear to be on a recharge at the moment. They still seem to be pushing rather aggressively, unless this is the charge lap. They've definitely got more battery in it, so they may be going once again, in which case I believe Space Ghost is actually the furthest around. So we'll grab that car. We'll keep an eye on the timing tower of Renovatio, as I believe they're going to go right back for a second lap immediately after this. They're not charged up and are going to have to come in and pit. Space Ghost yellow in sector 1. Not any improvements to be found after these first runs, really. Drivers really struggling to gain extra time. Space Ghost has bailed out of it, so that is that lap done. You can see the light flashing on the rear of the car there. Oba Mendez, though, appears to be continuing on with their lap. They have not improved through the first sector, but if they're close enough to stay in the fight, then they may be able to. But yeah, Space Ghost yellow through the second sector, as is Oba Mendez. So no opportunities really for time to be found for some of these drivers out on track today. Space Ghost pulls out of the way. He's going to bail in. Is Stolen Valor. We'll jump on with Project Stealth now, who is the next one really on a genuine flying lap. Around the corner they come. No drivers really finding time in Sector 1. It's very interesting this late in the session that drivers are not finding any kind of improvements. Granted, Sector 1 is really just the one corner to pitch in and get rotated and go for it. But still, you would think you may be able to find a little bit of extra time. He does improve in the second sector, so as he heads in to the final sector here, has gone up to 7. Sorry, I was getting a message there about more broadcasting. And I grabbed Space Ghost, who's personal best in the first sector, and we will quickly move away from them as they are not facing in the correct direction. So only 4 minutes left to go in this session. Renovatio P1, Space Ghost P2, Oba Mendez third, Zhao, who we're on board with now, has not improved through the first sector, in fourth. And they have backed out officially. They've fully backed out. We'll grab the next one across line. The Alpine Project Stealth goes to personal best. So one of the first drivers we've seen really getting some extra time. Renovatio, it appears. No, that's Ivory Lightning. The player Mercedes has also gone to green. So a lot of green sectors now finally popping up. We are beyond that 5 minutes to go mark that you often get the maximum track evolution. Wilco, though, loses time in the second sector. Across the line goes Project Stealth. Does not find any extra positions. Wilco will grab next, who is going to be making the last couple of corners. Are they going to find some time on a 106.2 at the moment? Crossing the line, they do improve by just a couple of thousandths, so they are just moved up one position there on a 106.217. Delta next across. Can they get into the 105s? Across the line they come. They do not. 106.0, so they are not quite there. And it looks like Ivory Lightning has not improved through that first sector and has backed out. May have been giving Renovatio a tow, or attempting to. Renovatio, though, on an outlap. We'll see as the Haas of Business Monkey is next around with fairly far off time. No, they've backed out. Looks like not many drivers properly on a flying lap. We'll grab the P1 driver at the moment, Renovatio. As at this stage, 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go, we will check and see if they are going to turn up the wick and go for the flyer, or if they are preparing for that double outlap. So here they come out of the final corner. Do we see that battery start draining? Does not appear to be. So it looks like they are on a double outlap. We will see if we can find it is on a flying lap. It is not going to be the Haas. We'll check in with Stolen Valor, who is should be on a flying lap. No, they have not improved either. So no drivers really going for it just yet. They are on a recharge. We'll check in with Wilco, who pitches it through the first corner. Are they on a recharge lap? I think they do have DRS open. Light is not flashing, so they are going for a full push lap. Are they going to find some improvement in Sector 1? No, they have not quite found it. It's a yellow first sector. But there's time to be found throughout the rest of this lap. So we'll see if they continue to push on. They are continuing to push on. And it looks like we might be getting around to Renovatio starting the flying lap relatively shortly. They've gone through the Sector 2 split. Oba Mendez is just ahead of, or Stolen Valor is just ahead of Renovatio. Oba Mendez does improve in the first sector. If there's no improvement in the second sector for Wilco, no, they've backed out. Their yellow light, or red light is flashing. We'll grab Oba Mendez, who is on a flying lap, and a decent one, it appears. Here they come down into the middle sector, turn 4, that tight little corner. Trying to get the throttle down throughout the course of turn 5 can be tricky, especially when it gets a little bit damp and rainy. Doesn't use a whole lot of the track there. Yellow in the second sector there, so no improvements to be found. Space Ghost, though, as Oba Mendez just went spearing off to the inside, so they've made a mistake. But Space Ghost purple through the second sector. Just has to find a couple of thousandths in order to overtake Renovatio for pole position. Here comes Space Ghost through the final corner. Keeps it in bounds across the line. He comes. And it's going to be a 105.5, so big improvement for Space Ghost there. Here comes Zhao, who's found about a 10th through the first 2 sectors. Will they move themselves up? A 10th should get them a position over Oba Mendez. They do go up to 2nd overall. Oba Mendez, the next across the line, does not improve. Renovatio is on 2 personal best laps, found about 2/10 of improvement. It's going to be nip and tuck here in the final sector. They go provisional pole by just a 10th of a second over Space Ghost as the checkered flag flies. Space Ghost is out. He's technically on a lap, but I believe everybody should be just about on a cooldown, as Space Ghost, Zhao, Oba Mendez, and Wilco have all just finished their flying laps. We'll wait for it to be officially official, but as it stands, Renovatio on provisional pole, just about to be a pole position. So we just wait for the timer to run out, the checkered flags to wave at drivers, and we should know in a few moments whether Renovatio has indeed locked down another pole position. I'd have to check the statistics, but that might be 3 out of 3 for Renovatio. Has shown incredible qualifying pace. Space Ghost does take the checkered flag. No improvement there. They will stay P2. Oba Mendez should be next across the line here in the Ferrari as they trundle their way through, take the checkered flag, and there it is. The end of the qualifying session, and Renovatio takes pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix here in PC Division 4. And here is your official rundown. Renovatio on P1. Shares the front row with Space Ghost, just a 10th in it. About a 10th and a half back is Zhao in P3, who sits on the second row with Oba Mendez. Delta the Hunter is in P5, sharing the row with Stolen Valor. Wilco and Project Stealth make up the 4th row. Ivory Lightning and Business Monkey round out your top 10. Business Monkey not really setting a representative time. And Seriton, we will see if they have gotten their wheel fixed and are going to be able to take the start. Hopefully, that is the case. Now we will give just a moment to take a breather and let drivers set their strategies and prepare to contend with the weather. I believe we may, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we are running somebody is readied up immediately. Somebody does it every week, even though they're told not to. Because how are you going to set a strategy that fast? How are you going to adjust your fuel load that fast? This track, just running at full pelt, runs you net. It gives you a net gain against the expected fuel target. So drivers that do not set a target will have a heavy car towards the end, especially because it gives you like 2 extra laps of fuel. But we are on the grid, and it is indeed a formation lap, and we are going to just go ahead and silence Mr. David Croft for a moment. Now it looks like we've got some interesting tire choices. Renovatio, Space Ghost, Oba Mendez on the hard. Seriton at the back, the only one opting for the soft tire. Hard medium in a totally green flag race appeared to be a slightly quicker strategy than medium hard. However, with the lifespan of the hard tire, it does give you a lot of opportunity to go very long and adjust to potential weather adjustments. So the last car's just about getting formed up on the grid. We'll bring up that pause menu for just a quick moment so we can get the audio re-enabled now that David Croft has finished talking. And here we go. Lights are warming up. We wait for it, and the away they go. Space Ghost, an incredible start. Gets away from the line much better than anyone else. Side by side is Delta and Stolen Valor, and Renovatio has been eaten up. Business Monkey has absolutely sent it into turn 1, and that has put a couple of cars around. And that is going to just not be looked on very well. Renovatio recovering, has his teammate Ivory Lightning behind, but Space Ghost, an incredible launch off the line to take P1 into turn 1. Renovatio must have just gotten a lot of wheel spin. We've got some movement towards the back. That's Zhao going slow. It looks like they may have had to hand that position back. They may have made an overtake off track and are looking to get back involved. But some cars knocked around, spun around in turn 1, but nobody out of it just yet. Now I am not sure. Wrong button. If the car of Seriton is indeed, as Delta is around. Delta's gone around through the middle sector, and an easy place to make that mistake. The car can get very light on the rear end. The Space Ghost leads by 1.7 seconds after the first lap. Renovatio, though, coming back at Stolen Valor to try and put himself into a better position here. Get back towards those championship leading positions. Wilco is diving into the pit lane, I would assume, for some kind of damage. We'll just take a peek. Yep, a new front wing going on. Unfortunately, I believe they started on the... Nope, they've gone to the hard tires, so technically could go to the end of the race on this one. We will grab, as Business Monkey is once again making deep lunges into the corners. Has gone off the track there, overtaking Zhao, it would appear. And they will continue to fight down into turn 4. Zhao up the inside. Business Monkey trying to hang out around the outside. Not going to have the nose to do it. Oba Mendez closing back up on this one. Space Ghost with a comfortable lead out front. Renovatio has dropped back a little bit from it. It looks like Business Monkey is dropped back through the middle sector. I believe that might be Project Stealth going a little bit slowly as well, likely to take avoiding action. As already we're down into the 108 on race pace. Now we'll just have to see how this tire strategy rolls out throughout. Renovatio is in DRS. He's got the hard compound tires, so he'll have a little less performance than Stolen Valor, who is sandwiched in the middle with those mediums. Space Ghost on the hards as well. So we will see. Stolen Valor's really got to get the hammer down and start closing up. And make hay while those medium tires are really shining in this one. The next closest battle's on track. We do have a bit of a train forming a little bit further back. Zhao, Oba Mendez, Project Stealth all in a bit of a row here. And there's yellow flags Business Monkey is disconnected. There's yellow flags in Sector 2. It looks like there was a Red Bull that had gone around, but seems to be moving once again. Renovatio really closing up the gap now to Stolen Valor. Down to about a half a second is the margin for Renovatio, and is going to be starting to utilize that DRS. In fact, sets a fast lap of the race, but his teammate in the other Mercedes, without the DRS, sets the fast lap on those mediums. Renovatio closing up to the back of Stolen Valor. Does he go inside, outside? Where does Stolen Valor place the car? It's a late choice to make coming up the hill because of that left-hand kink. You really have to be on your toes in case of a driver making that last-second adjustment to take a racing line. It looks like Stolen Valor has gotten a little better launch off the line, and Project Stealth has moved by Oba Mendez on this one. Looks like the medium tire runners, for the most part, in good spot, aside from Stolen Valor Renovatio. You wouldn't expect it. And Seritin is just going to have to park the car. Now, is that an actual DNF? I cannot tell. It appears to be in a spot where the car is on the inside of the track. Just seems to be local yellow, so it may be getting cleaned up relatively quickly. It doesn't look like a retire in the pit lane and the AI trundled out just yet. So it looks like that dot is still there. We'll see if we can get a glimpse of it as we come back. No, it's gone. So it's cleared. No interruption to the racing, no safety car, virtual or otherwise, involved. Now, we had a bit of a chat about it for a quick second in speculation in qualifying, but we'll take a look at projected weather for this race. Now, usual race distance in all green flag racing should turn about 45 to 50 minutes. We're looking at the opportunity for rain at just past the 30-minute mark. So we will just have to find out if drivers are going to have to make that late call. It could be an opportunity for hard tire runners to go very long, and it looks like Renovatio is fighting with Ivory Lightning, and that is costing them time to Stolen Valor. It may be an opportunity, a Mercedes driver, fellow Mercedes drivers, go ahead and let the medium tire runner see if they can attack, and if not, swap the positions back, you know? I think it would behoove them both. Renovatio could sit in the DRS of a driver on medium tires, conserve some fuel, conserve some tires, and then once those mediums fall off, trade those positions back if you're not able to catch up to Stolen Valor. But it is the closest battle on track here, and it's just at about a second. The Renovatio now starting to stretch the legs on the gap a little bit. His teammate still in the DRS, although just about going to fall out of it for the next straight, as Renovatio's got to find another couple tenths. Oh, to the inside is Space Ghost. Space Ghost has spun round, and it looks to be the same spot that Seriton retired from. He looks to have kept it out of the wall too significantly. We'll just have to keep an eye. Early incidents like that is going to really, really cost a hard tire runner that's trying to go long. Oba Mendez is into the pit lane now. They've made a stop there onto the medium compound tire, so they are going to have to commit to a two-stop race at this stage. We'll get back to the action that is the two Mercedes teammates, Renovatio and Ivory Light, just about hanging on to the back. And we'll keep an eye on the deltas for Delta and Project Stealth. If those start to close up, which it looks like Delta is absolutely closing up, as Oba Mendez having some trouble with the tire warm-up on that outlap. There's, with so many long straights, it's hard to get the temperature into those tires. That's exactly the angle I wanted for this overtake. He's going to try and go down the inside. Oba Mendez tries to hang it out around the outside, but no dice in this one, and they're coming up on Delta the Hunter now. He's fallen back just a little bit. Can they get clear? I think Oba Mendez has just about got the tires now up to full operating temperature, and you're going to see that 5-lap lifespan come into play a little bit. We'll stick with this fight as it remains very close in this one. Still right about that DRS range, about half a second. And it should close very much up down in the first right. You realistically don't go for too many moves down into turn 1. You usually use the DRS to close into turn 1 and then the DRS down to turn 3 to make the move. Unfortunately, it looks like taking that inside line, kind of having a look at an overtake, has cost them the racing line a bit and has put them out of reach. However, you go 3 straights, 3 DRS zones. So once again, Oba Mendez flips open that rear wing, and away they go. Project Stealth has actually closed up onto the back of Zhao. They are about to start entering the next of the DRS zones as they come around turns 9 and 10. As we've already made it 8 laps into this 36-lap race, so we've got some movement going, and surprisingly, no track limits penalties yet for anyone. Usually, this track breeds them. In the PC Division R race that we had yesterday, I believe we only had 2 drivers finish that race without penalties, as Project Stealth up the inside of Zhao there. Zhao with the blinking red light showing that their battery is dead. Oh, too much power. Project Stealth is out. They're into the barriers. Is that going to trigger a safety car? They are off the track. It is going to be it looks like a full safety car has been called for this one. And it looks like SimHub, once again, the graphic did not work. But that is an Alpine out of the race. And it looks like everybody got kind of caught out a little bit by the Delta. Things are just about sorted. But we are now down to just 9 drivers. Project Stealth out of the race. Sariton out of the race and the exit of turn 1. And it's both times been a result of too much right foot on the throttle. It's perfectly good spot for the medium tire runners to come in. So Stolen Valor, unsurprisingly, is in. Ivory Lightning is in. We will see if anybody else. Zhao appears to have not gone for the move. We'll jump back to Business Monkey. Will be the next to cross the pit entry lane and see if they decide to dip in and go for a new set of tires to get off of the mediums. Here they come around the corner and they stay out. So no pit stop for them. Oh, Mendes had just made a pit stop under green flag conditions 2 laps ago. They will be staying out. Delta has committed, it appears, to the pit lane. Yep, they are inside. They are going to come get some new tires on. And lastly, Wilco stays out in this one. So full safety car called. Renovatio leads from Space Ghost, Zhao, Stolen Valor, Ivory Lightning, Business Monkey, Open Mendes, Captain Wilco, and Delta the Hunter rounds out your running order. Started with 11, now we're 9. So really, drivers in the catbird seat. Championship leader, Stolen Valor, who is now on a set of fresh hard tires that can go to the end of the race. And also has Ivory Lightning for company, who has shown good pace, and this one is now on a set of hard tires that can go to the end of the race. If the race remains green the rest of the way, it's going to be very difficult for Renovatio and Space Ghost to build a sufficient gap to make that green flag pit stop. So in essence, your net leaders of the race at the moment are Stolen Valor, because they do still have to make that mandatory stop. They have not made that stop. The only drivers who have covered off the requirements, Stolen Valor, Ivory Lightning, Oba Mendes, Wilco, and Delta the Hunter. However, Oba Mendes likely to have to make another stop. Wilco as well. So we'll keep an eye out and see how that develops, as the pack is just about caught up. Or rather, scratch that. Delta is just coming across the pit straight, so we may have just about one more lap of safety car conditions before we get back to green flag racing. But still, no track limits penalties for anyone just yet, which is a surprise, to say the least, but a welcome one. And we will see how Renovatio handles this restart. They've handled several restarts last weekend out in Austin, and now they've got the opportunity to lead yet another one. It's a couple long straights. You've really got to try and catch your opponents napping, I would say, and build enough of a gap to where the slipstream won't do you in. So fortunate for Space Ghost after that spin. Safety car came out, and they're right back in P2, so not a huge detriment to them. They did lose that track position as they did spin from the lead, but still one position back after facing the wrong way, and no time differential to account for. Pretty good opportunity for them. So pack is caught back up just as we're crossing the start-finish line, so we should be for sure getting back to green flag racing once again. In just a moment's time. So take a breather, relax, grab yourself a drink as we get ready. We're 11 laps into this 36 lap event, but with the lap times coming in at under 70 seconds a lap, it is going to come at you quickly. So we will be towards the end of this race under green flag conditions before you know what happens. Grab onto the leader as we should be getting the safety car in this lap message in a couple of corners. Just for a quick recap, if anybody's joining us now, Renovatio leads in this one after taking pole position, lost the pole position off the start as Space Ghost made a quick move up the inside and was leading this race till a spin out of turn 3. Then there was Project Stealth making a mistake out of turn 3 themselves, or rather Space Ghost made a mistake in turn 1. Then Project Stealth made a mistake in turn 3 and brought out this safety car that we are waiting for the restart of now. So we will get ready to rock and roll. Renovatio leading the pack, letting the safety car get very far away. In this one, it's probably going to be the best opportunity to escape of going before these last two corners. We'll keep an eye on that throttle trace just to see when they put the hammer down and go. And there it is, green. And through the final corner, Space Ghost has had an incredible run. A wiggle of oversteer for Renovatio. Space Ghost is going to get them across the line. And there's a mistake from Stolen Valor in the pack. They have gone around, and Space Ghost, I think, may have overtaken Renovatio just before the start-finish line. So they needed to yield that position back into turn 1. But look at the run they've got now coming out of turn 2 into turn 3 on the brakes on the inside. Renovatio goes deep, has cost himself a position. Zhao has made it past Ivory Lightning now, or rather Zhao was ahead of Ivory Lightning, but Space Ghost retakes the lead of this race. Now can Renovatio fight it back? However, keep in mind both of these drivers have yet to make their mandatory pit stop, and you should be seeing the pit window for the hard tire runners open in about 10 laps time. 12 to 14 laps is the ideal distance to run the medium tires at the end, or rather 14 to 16, sorry. It's about the ideal distance to run it in the tail end of this race on mediums. So we will have to keep an eye out, and over the next couple of laps, it's all bunched up. We'll keep an eye here. Ivory Lightning is very close to the rear end of Zhao, but Ivory Lightning, the first of our offenders when it comes to track limits penalties. They put themselves in a very good position with those hard tires, as Oba Mendez having a little look to the inside, doesn't try and commit to a move there. And of course, with the safety car restart, we are back to green flag racing, but we are also back to waiting 3 laps until DRS becomes enabled. So gives an opportunity for drivers to try and run away a little bit. Oh, Ivory Lightning nearly into the back of Zhao. A good exit for Ivory Lightning, though. Their power is down, and they've made the move, and unfortunately, I cannot get it. Zhao still side by side, fighting back. You can see just ahead is the Mercedes, and Zhao just has to tuck in. So Zhao trying to make some use of those medium tires. However, those fresh, hard tires, if they got them up to temperature on the safety car restart laps, they could be in a very good position to absolutely attack it. Space Ghost leads from Renovatio, who's just inside that 1 second margin. We should be seeing the indication rather shortly. Boom, DRS is now enabled. Won't be down the pit straight, but out of turn 1 and up the main overtaking opportunity, turn 2 and 3. Renovatio has lost a little bit of time. Zhao, Oba Mendez still very close to each other. We will actually, though, keep an eye on this fight. We are keeping an eye on the deltas for Wilco and Delta the Hunter as well, as they are closing up. No move looks like it's going to be made there. We're going to check in with the McLaren of Captain Wilco. To the inside they go, under braking, a little bit of a wiggle, just trying to get the tires to find some traction. Leaves space. Oh, an oversteer moment. How do they keep it out? They've kept it out of the barrier somehow, but that is going to cost them a significant amount of race time, nearly to the back. Stolen Valor is in the pit lane. I wonder if they picked up damage with the mistake that was made there earlier. So they are on to another set of tires. 2 stops done in this one. We'll keep an eye on how long they are in the pit lane. They seem to be moving as if there was not any wing damage, but they are back onto that set of hard compound tires. Probably not a bad move if you're already at the back of the pack. Put on those hards. They can go to the end if there's a safety car. It bunches the field back up for you. It's not a great choice to go. Here we're going to jump on, though, with Oba Mendez, who Zhao has been burning a lot of battery. Both of them have been burning battery here. That red light flashing indicating they're under 10% charge on their ERS. That extra deployment for the overtake mode. 160 extra horsepower to be had. Looks like Delta is in the pit lane as well. And Oba Mendez just about trying to go around the outside of Zhao. Not quite going to have it stick. And having to compromise the exit by going wide on the entry has cost them the time. They're not going to have the opportunity to re-attack down into turn 4. Renovatio still teetering right on the border of that 1 second margin to Space Ghost. They seem to gain and get inside that 1 second through turns 4, 5, and 6. But once you get to turn 8 and 9, no, Ivory Lightning's around. Ivory Lightning is off the track. It looks like they managed to keep it out of the barriers, but that is 2 positions down for them. They were running in podium position and on an ideal strategy. Now, luckily, only dropped down to P5 because of that. Renovatio has closed up quite a bit more on Space Ghost. I believe they may be going on a full deployment for this one to try and close that gap. Rumbles over the curb of turn 1. And now DRS flips open once again. We'll keep an eye as I believe Oba Mendez is making an attack on Zhao. It doesn't look like this is going to come off. We'll grab this battle now as Oba Mendez has shown to be a little more aggressive. Looks to the inside, sends it deep on the brakes over the curbing. It looks like there's a little bit of contact on the exit trying to get the car rotated. But Oba Mendez, just because by virtue of being a little behind the detection point, has that DRS back once again. Business Monkey is into the pit lane. Delta the Hunter goes back through. And the leaders of Space Ghost and Renovatio are just about to catch up to Stolen Valor. The championship leader might put a lap down in this one. That could be absolutely devastating. We'll grab the lead battle once again as they come to the trio of DRS zones. It's DRS zone, corner, DRS zone 2 technical corners, and a DRS zone in another corner. So here we go. Renovatio, 3/10, closing the gap with that rear wing open. Now closes the rear wing under braking in order to get that downforce reattached. A good run through turn 1. Space Ghost getting the power down on the exit. Now, is Renovatio going to be close enough? It's hovering around 310. Space Ghost, I believe, really utilizing the power to defend. Oba Mendez and Zhao are fighting it, both with very little battery. Renovatio a little too far back to re-attack down into turn 4. Though this battle is still right nip and tuck with each other. Delta the Hunter, setting the fast lap of the race, has gone onto a set of soft compound tires. Will definitely have to stop again before the end of this race. Now, when it comes to battery levels, you wonder just how much Space Ghost and Renovatio have been using. We know the battle here for P3 has been burning battery, as we've seen the flashing red lights on the rear of the cars relatively frequently for these guys. So definitely pushing it. Now, another thing is I'm starting to notice the clouds. The sky is darkening. The shadows are a little less stark. And that safety car and the extra bit of time from trundling around behind it may have put us in a window where we are going to get into the danger of having some rain. Space Ghost has made a mistake on the exit of turn 1. Renovatio, just inside the DRS, has the absolute run. It's gone very wide. Nearly off the track. It just kind of went straight on. Space Ghost looking to re-attack to the inside. Not going to quite get alongside. He's going to have DRS on Reno, though, to re-attack. Rear wing flips open, and now down into turn 4. The battle continues. Space Ghost on the inside. Renovatio on the outside. Full deployment for Renovatio. No more battery for them to have. Space Ghost late on the brakes has gone a bit deep. Renovatio with the up and under, but I don't think he's got the battery power. Oh, contact between the two. Renovatio's into the wall. That's a front wing end plate gone. It looks like Renovatio is going to be able to stay going, but damage done. I think they just kind of ran a little bit wide side-by-side contact. Not sure about space left. I think it might have been just about enough. There's definitely a one where you kind of get squeezed down. Renovatio is going to have to bail right into the pit lane. He's understeered out incredibly wide. Has to stay out because he has to dodge Oba Mendez coming through, and that is going to cost Renovatio a significant amount of time. He could come in now and get the medium tires on and go to the end of the race. It is possible, but we will bring up that weather report. About 10 minutes till we start to see the first drops of rain expected. 46% chance, increasing over the next few minutes after that. So Renovatio with that front wing damage. Going to just maybe try and hang on for another few laps until that rain comes. But 10 minutes out, we're looking at about another 7-8 laps of racing. And we may have some dampness on the way in this one. Zhao now starting to catch the back of Renovatio after Oba Mendes goes through. Renovatio still holding on to Oba Mendes, not quite falling off. However, this is where the broken wing is really going to hurt them. This very downforce dependent end of the second, start of the third sector. You can see just how much Renovatio is washing out through those corners, and now their teammate Ivory Lightning is starting to get back involved. Renovatio, though, staying out once again and is just not going to make the pit stop. Has gone a little bit deep, and you can see the speed that Zhao is carrying. DRS is open. We'll see if they can find a way. Nope, they're going to just wait through turn 1 and have the real long run down into turn 2 and 3. So DRS open in the deep slipstream. Renovatio relatively quick in the straight line, though. It looks like Zhao did not make any ground on Renovatio through that DRS zone, and now Ivory Lightning is inside the DRS of Zhao. We'll keep an eye on them, as it looks like there may have been a mistake. Side by side they go. The Mercedes now making a move on the AlphaTauri, but running out of battery. Are they going to be able to hold the outside? Yes. Ivory Lightning makes the move on Zhao, and now probably a good idea for Renovatio to let Ivory Lightning through. Carrying damage, let your teammate through and let them strike on and try and build a bit of a gap, and then play the team game. Hold back Zhao for as long as he can in order to try and let his teammate build a safety gap. Zhao going to try and look to the inside of Ivory Lightning. Oh, Renovatio, though, making some time through the middle sector. Ivory Lightning not the cleanest. Through Ivory Lightning wide off the track, and that is going to allow Zhao some serious momentum down into turn 1. Zhao going to get that position back and is fully clear down into the braking zone of turn 1. So likely Ivory Lightning lifting a bit, has run wide again. So Ivory Lightning really struggling in combat here. Showed very good pace in clean air to close up and get involved with this battle, but seems to be making some mistakes as they get on into the fights. Here comes Zhao to the apex. Ivory Lightning not close enough to attack, and Zhao may have an opportunity to make a lunge down into turn 4. He's gotten a very good launch off the final corner, or off of turn 3 there. Is he going to look it up there? No. Renovatio is going to hold. It's going to keep Zhao a little bit wide of the apex. Ivory Lightning using that extra momentum by being able to take the ideal line, and look at how close it is. Ivory Lightning sticking a nose? No. Ivory Lightning has to back out of that one. Didn't have any part of the car alongside. Definitely not enough alongside to be justified space in that one. And again, this battle continues on. But the noteworthy thing, Space Ghost in the lead of this race by 6.2 seconds. So a significant advantage for them. Oba Mendes in P2. There's yellow flags. I believe that is the white dot of Business Monkey, who has gone around. And they are recovering back to the track. And we'll have the company of Stolen Valor to fight with, it appears, a little bit. So we'll just get back on to the fight that we've had going on for quite a while now. Zhao ahead of both Mercedes now. Has cleared Renovatio. And now Ivory Lightning has to work too hard to try and get past Renovatio. It is going to just let Zhao run away. We'll see if Reno lifts out. It seems they are defending from their own teammate. So no move, no position swapped there. And here goes Zhao, now already broken that 1 second margin. Ivory Lightning up and under on Renovatio, going side by side, just cuts the nose off a little bit and runs wide. And now Renovatio may have an opportunity to re-attack Ivory Lightning, but no. Looks like Ivory has got it sorted, but scrapping between the two teammates has cost them 2 seconds to Zhao. So not the best team maneuver between the two. And it looks like, does Ivory Lightning may have wing damage as well. It's hard to tell with the end plate being the same color as the tire. Yes, Ivory Lightning is missing a front wing end plate as well. I don't remember where he picked that up. This Business Monkey is off the track once again. I'm not sure where he picked up that, but both Mercedes carrying front wing damage. Wilco going into the pit lanes, going to get off of those hard compound tires, it would appear, and go for another compound. Inters. Wilco on to the inters. I'm going to jump on board. There is rain falling, so the rain has started to come. And Wilco is the canary in the coal mine, going to be the first onto the intermediate tires. We'll grab the leader gap just so we can see how Wilco does against the lead of this race. They're coming out of the pit lanes. They've made the stop. It's now about 46 seconds, the margin. So the rain is coming down. We'll see how Wilco handles it. Up ahead, it looks like Space Ghost still out on the track, has not come into the pit lane. So you've got the two McLarens have the opportunity to work together. If they're in a chat, although Wilco is a reserve driver, so not technically a McLaren driver, but if they do happen to get into a chat, may see some opportunities as around goes Business Monkey once again on the exit of turn 10. Delta is into the pit lane, so the Red Bull now blinking for a new set of boots. Wilco not yet making any kind of inroads on the leader. So intermediate tires go on to Delta the Hunter's car as well. Open Mendez has fallen to 7 seconds. Wilco now 47 seconds off of Space Ghost, so it's not quite at that crossover point just yet. We'll keep an eye on Space Ghost as they come around. Looks like they're about to catch, if I'm not mistaken, that is Stolen Valor in the Ferrari a few corners up ahead. We will see if Space Ghost opts to come into the pit lane, blink, and make that tire change. They're wide of the apex and entry there, so no pit for Space Ghost. Wilco 48 seconds back, so still not quite making any ground. We'll also keep an eye on Delta to see if they can start to close up. They're 29 seconds behind Renovatio. So now P6, P7, both on the intermediate tires for this one. It is Renovatio's into the pit lane. So Ivory Lightning stays out. Reno is into the pits. We will see. They will certainly surely get a new front wing on there and a set of intermediate tires. There's the front wing and those green walled intermediate tires. DRS is disabled. That is usually the indication that it is time to make that tire change. Wilco still has not yet eaten into the gap of Space Ghost, but we should see that start to come around. Where is Space Ghost is in prime position to just react to whatever the DRS disabled indication is. We'll keep an eye on them as they go. Renovatio with that new front wing back out on track looks to be just ahead of the combination of Delta and Wilco. So a bit of extra time lost, and Space Ghost is well to the inside. Gets the car slowed down nicely in these tricky conditions and into the pit lane. So Space Ghost now, your race leader, coming in to grab a set of intermediates. We'll check now. Oba Mendez next across is going to come in for those inters as well. So they are good. Zhao staying out on 24-lap old medium tires. They are about at their life's limit. Those things are getting very close to puncture territory at this stage. And with everybody else blinking for the intermediate tires, I don't know if it's the right strategy for them to stay out. Ivory Lightning is into the pit lane now for a set of intermediate tires. That leaves Stolen Valor and Business Monkey the only ones on the dries, although they are just about coming in. Business Monkey staying out on track once again. And considering all the spins they've had in dry conditions, maybe probably should have come in for some intermediate tires now, as Wilco is close to now 35 seconds of the race leader, and Space Ghost really chewing into that lead. Huge lap differential there. We'll check at the second sector times for both drivers to see what kind of lap times they're doing. Here comes Zhao, who's on some very compromised medium tires, very old. Goes to a 52.3, 4.5 seconds off their best, but 52.3. Space Ghost on the outlap. Oh, he's on the outlap, so you're not going to get a representative lap time for them. We'll actually grab one of those who have been on the tires for a little while. We'll grab Delta, because if even them in P6 are making inroads on the race leader, surely the weather conditions will get. So 52.3 is the margin to beat. And here they come and cross that sector split. 50.6, so 2 seconds. 2.3 seconds slower, as Renovatio is made it by Ivory Lightning, so they've swapped positions back once again. Zhao has made that stop, it appears now. So Zhao has gone on to the inters, and they are making their way out. And that's Ivory off the track. Ivory Lightning has had a spin on the exit of turn 10. Has to wait a second for the other cars to come through to rejoin. but that is going to be a big blow to their race hopes. Zhao comes out in P3, has lost a bit of time on those medium tires out there, but still is a few seconds clear of Renovatio. Space Ghost leads by 9 seconds from Oba Mendez. Zhao is in P3, Renovatio in 4th. Delta the Hunter is in 5th. Business Monkey still on dry tires, as is Stolen Valor. So interesting to see them going still. Do they think maybe that the rain will clear up, will lighten up and give them a chance? We'll check the weather. It's only going to get harder till the end of this race. So very questionable choice for them to stay out on those dry tires. They are going to be just losing time hand over fist to the cars behind, and Business Monkey can't even keep it on track in these wet conditions, having the Lando Norris Russia special, unfortunately for them. We've only got 8 laps left to go in this one, as we are on lap 28 of 36. I guess technically 9 laps, because we're going to complete this lap, then it's 8 laps left to go. And Ivory Lightning is out. Ivory Lightning has crashed out of this race, and a full safety car has been called. So the field is going to be bunched up. A full safety car is called for this one, and Ivory Lightning with a unfortunate moment, and they've made a mistake on the way into the pit lane, or have spun on the exit. If you spin through turn 9, sometimes the car will rotate towards the pit lane, and that is going to be a free pit stop for Stolen Valor. So we will go ahead and get their tires on, and suffering through the rain, they managed to bank on a safety car. They should. It's going to be very close. We're going to jump on board with Space Ghost. It's going to be nip and tuck for Stolen Valor to stay on the lead lap. Here comes Space Ghost up the hill. Is Stolen Valor going to remain on the lead lap on the inside of turn 1? It looks like they're just going to get to the pit exit before the race leader, and are going to remain, I believe, on the lead lap. So Space Ghost catches up with the safety car. Stolen Valor gets the lucky dog wave around, and is going to be able to have their entire deficit erased. Now, by virtue of staying out in those wet conditions and not taking the time loss of a pit stop, that is exactly what has kept them on the on the lead lap. And I will say, calling for them to pit, they banked on Division 4. Even though there's less drivers around and they're spread out a bit more than previous rounds, they still banked on a Division 4 safety car, and they got it. So Stolen Valor are now going to be able to pelt around the track and close their way back up to the safety car queue. It shouldn't take too long before we're back to racing, as we are on lap 29. It'll be the start of lap 30. So we are realistically only going to have about six racing laps left in this one. So exciting news. Good, interesting racing going to be coming up after the field had gotten spread out. Space Ghost had a 9-second lead over Oba Mendez. Now it is not. There is no lead for Space Ghost. It was down to nothing. Business Monkey in the pack, a lap down. If Wise will jump out of the way and not interrupt the train when the race goes green again. It'll be the sporting thing to do, as you will be getting blue flags. And now, while they may be able to fight or try and get back on the lap, they're 4 positions back. Realistically, should just drop to the back of the queue. Stolen Valor coming through Sector 2 to Sector 3 split right now, so about a half a lap, or actually just about 1 full sector ahead of the safety car at the moment. They've got to find some pace to get there. Of course, with the leader picked up by the safety car, Stolen Valor no longer will have to be driving to a Delta, so they are actually going to get quite a bit of essentially free practice on driving at racing speeds in these conditions, while everybody else has got to just try and keep temperature in the tires. And then once it goes green racing again, they have to kind of figure out and tiptoe their way around the track. Stolen Valor getting a lot of extra practice. Not the race the championship leader would have hoped for, I'm sure. But with the field being clumped back up together and they are running in a points-paying position, if they can just get to the end of the race, they can minimize the damage. Granted, Space Ghost, only 1 point off the championship lead, will take it no matter what if he takes home the race win, even if Stolen Valor can get all the way up to P2. But Stolen Valor, an opportunity to minimize the damage with this safety car. Now, Stolen Valor right about a sector behind now, so has found about a sector through this last safety car lap. They may be able to catch the train before they hit the normal safety car in this lap location, which is usually right around the sector 2 to 3 split at most tracks here in F1 2022. So they are approaching turn 1. The field making their way slowly through the hairpin of turn 3, and they may have the opportunity to arrive with some very toasty tires while everybody else is struggling to keep the temperature in these wet conditions that are getting a little bit damper as we continue on. Safety car is going to be in this lap. Stolen Valor has not yet made it to the pack, but with Space Ghost backing up the field and getting ready to rock and roll, and here you can see on the mini map there, Stolen Valor just about on the tail end of the train. So Space Ghost got to back up the field as looks like there was contact. Zhao was off the track, and there's been a huge mess in the middle. Business Monkey somehow up into second. And there's been some kind of disaster for Zhao. He's falling straight back. I'm not sure what happened. I didn't get a chance to really get a good look at it, but we'll catch up. We are getting back to green flag racing. Space Ghost has gone. So away they go back up to racing. Open Mendez P2, Renovatio P3. Delta in 4th. Delta making a move on Renovatio already, so has gotten the better launch out of turn 10. And now, who can manage the tires? Went to manage and then finagle and just turned into a stumbling mess. Renovatio just ahead of Captain Wilco. Wilco really closing up. A bit of a mistake from Delta, it looks like, has gone a little deep on turn 3 there, has cost themselves a bit of exit time. Stolen Valor now up to P6. Zhao running 5 seconds off the pace now in P7. Business Monkey, it looks like, I think, has retired on track. So is that going to call another full course or safety car? It does not appear to be. I think it's just a local yellow. And Business Monkey is out of this race. Only 7 left running in this one now. The local yellow persists, and Space Ghost is back to a multi-second race lead. We'll jump into the mid-pack here, though, as Delta, Renovatio, Wilco, and Stolen Valor all running in a train nice and close to each other. And it looks like Delta may make a little bit of time on Open Mendez this time. Wilco just dropping off the back of Renovatio as Reno is starting to try and find their way to attack the Red Bull ahead. Mercedes versus Red Bull, huh? Saw a lot of it last year. Not so much of it in 2022, but here in the FRS, with these equal performance race cars, it's all down to the driver. Wilco's closed back into 1 second. Stolen Valor falling off the back of this battle. Only a few laps left to go in this one. We are 33 of 36, and Space Ghost seems to be just about running away with it. Delta has now got Oba Mendez in their sight, looking to take over P2. Delta has got to make some ground. They're carrying a 3-second time penalty right now. Renovatio and Stolen Valor look to be in podium positions. We'll just go ahead and grab leader gap because that'll make it easier to do the math. And we are essentially just going to keep our eyes on this battle as it continues. With Stolen Valor 6 seconds off of the leader, meaning they are well within the 6 seconds of Delta the Hunter, who is currently 3 seconds off the leader. Zhao, though, looks to be completely out of contention on this one. I believe picked up some damage under that safety car. Don't know what happened there. So we'll reserve judgment and wait and see. But Kind of back and forth is Renovatio on Delta, and Stolen Valor just nipping outside of what would get them the podium position. They will overtake Wilco on the penalties, but they're just kind of on the border of getting Delta, and it looks like Delta has got a very good run on Oba Mendez now down into turn 4. On the outside goes Delta. Oba Mendez to the inside, and around they go safely through turn 4. No move being made. Delta, though, carrying some really good momentum. Oba kind of making it hard to see which line they're taking, but I think Delta has got some serious pace compared to Oba Mendez right now. Oba Mendez losing time hand over fist to Space Ghost in this one, so struggling with the wet conditions. However, Oba just needs to hold on to within 3 seconds of Delta the Hunter here, even if Delta gets by. So, Delta getting their elbows out up the inside of turn 10 has made a move stick, and that is going to put Oba at risk from Renovatio. Although Delta has lost some time, I think they're going to duke it out now down into turn 1. So easy to accidentally run wide on the exit, and it looks like Delta has cleared Oba. Renovatio sneaks through as both drivers are compromised, and now here comes Wilco. Oba Mendez dropping down the field, now is going to be under pressure from his own teammate of Stolen Valor just a little bit further back. Side by side, 2x2, they go into turn 3. Tight line has cost Oba Mendez, and from P2, they've dropped all the way down to P6. Oh, just a tremendously unlucky series of corners and getting caught out wrong-footed. And now Renovatio is in position for a P2 finish. Stolen Valor, your championship leader, may grab a podium. Granted, they won't be championship leader if it finishes as it is. Space Ghost, though, leading the race by a good 5 seconds, could run some track limits penalties if they wanted and still get home safely, as Space Ghost is navigating turn 9 and turn 10. Now, Zhao is starting to close up to the gap. Wilco and Stolen Valor side by side. Stolen Valor makes their way through Wilco as they come up to turn 9 and turn 10. So Stolen Valor now has to find 1.4 seconds to catch up to Renovatio, may be able to grab an extra bit of points. Considering how the race was going with just even 10 laps to go, a P2 finish would be tremendous for Stolen Valor's championship hopes. Oba Mendez has gotten their way past Captain Wilco, as we saw some serious wobbles from them into the exit of turn 1. We'll keep an eye on that fight as it is very close. Wilco, though, will essentially lose out on the position because of that 3-second time penalty. Zhao is getting just about into that 3-second margin. Oba Mendez defending the inside. Wilco to the inside of turn 4. Oba a little bit later on the brakes, has gone a bit deep, though. Can they carry that momentum using the outside? Wilco not able to get the up and under, just about done. Renovatio close to the back of Delta the Hunter has made a bit of a gap to Stolen Valor. Around the outside goes Wilco, though. Renovatio is out. Renovatio is retired, is crashed out of in the final sector of the final lap from a P2 position. Renovatio is out of this race. Stolen Valor is inside the 3-second margin. Space Ghost across the line and wins the Austria Grand Prix here for PC Division 4. Now, Stolen Valor just has to stay within 0.4 of a second. Now, Delta crosses the line second. Stolen Valor manages to snag P2 points after being nearly a lap down at the last safety car. He came up just ahead of the leaders at the last safety car period. Got the lucky dog pass and somehow comes home P2. An incredible drive from Stolen Valor. Delta, it appears, lost it and collected Renovatio. That's unfortunate if that is the case. And I think we got some people getting tangled up in this one. Unfortunate, but what a wild finish there in the wet conditions, and Stolen Valor just chewing their way position by position, and most importantly, staying in the race even when they were down and out, not picking up track limit penalties, still not being careless with their locations, and somehow getting all the way up on to the second step of the podium. But Space Ghost is your race winner, and Delta the Hunter stands for the moment P3. There may be some inquiries involved there. There's a good point from Yog there that, yes, since it was a retirement on the last lap, Renovatio is eligible for points. So they still will grab those 6 points that come with that P7 finish. Delta P3 with the fastest lap as it was taken during the dry conditions, but your final running order provisional, of course, Space Ghost, Stolen Valor, Delta the Hunter makes up your podium, Oba Mendez, and then Zhao rounds out your top 5. Wilco comes home P6 with Renovatio on a last lap retirement, picking up P7 points. Business Monkey is in 8th with the retirement. Ivory Lightning, Project Stealth, and Seriton, your 4 retirements in this one. Definitely an exciting finish to behold. And we still got one more day worth of FRS racing to go for round 4. And we've got PlayStation Division 1. Should be, in theory, on the FRS Motorsports channel. Not quite sure just yet. PC Division 3 will be back-to-back with the... with the FRS Sim GT series coming right ahead. I believe Roy Weller is going to be taking over both. He's been covering that in this season, and then should be also taking over PC Division 3. And of course, as usual, PC Division 2 wraps it up as the final race of the weekend. But wow, quite a finish to that one. And now we get to go ahead and relax and decompress, and of course, wake up nice and early because real F1 is back in action. Spa-Francorchamps, which was a great race for FRS, but now the actual F1 scene is there. An interesting situation we're going to have with all the track limits penalties, engine penalties. I think penalties in FRS, and I think track limits. But engine penalties making for an interesting grid in the real-life race. I get to wake up at a nice, bright and early 6 a.m. for that. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to y'all joining us again for the remainder of this race weekend for FRS. And then, of course, we're on once again next weekend off to Silverstone. But thank y'all for joining me. You all have a great day.